Before we begin today's conversation, I'd like to invite you to simply listen for a moment. Earlier today, it rained. So I stepped outside and recorded what you're hearing now. One thing I've noticed about the rain, it doesn't ask whether it's convenient. It simply comes, and in its own quiet way, prepares the earth for what comes next. Rain often marks the transition between seasons, from spring to summer, summer to fall, fall to winter. We don't always welcome it, but it serves a purpose. I've been thinking about seasons lately, and how they rarely change all at once. Sometimes they change so gradually that we only recognize the transition when we look back. The same is true of storms. They don't announce their departure. You simply notice the pressure changing, the wind becoming still, the rain growing quieter. And then you realize the sun has broken through. So, wherever you find yourself today, whether the skies above you are clear or you're walking through a season that feels a little heavier, I hope these next few moments give you a chance to slow down. For most of my life, I've been very good at finishing things. I like coherence. I like seeing how the threads are connected. I like understanding the whole picture, which is probably why unfinished stories have always made me uncomfortable. Not because they're unfinished, but because they resist coherence for a while. When you read a book, you know you're somewhere in the middle. Questions haven't been answered yet. Characters are still developing. The story is still unfolding. And somehow that's okay. You trust the author to finish what they started. But when the story becomes our own, something changes. We want the manuscript. We want to know how everything turns out. How long this season lasts. When the answer comes. When the next chapter begins. I realized recently that something changed in me. I'm no longer demanding the story to finish before I inhabit it faithfully. That's different because for a long time, I thought faithfulness meant arriving. But now, I view faithfulness as remaining present. The story's unfinished, and I can still be fully present in it. The opposite of an unfinished story isn't a finished story. Stories should have a conclusion. That's good. The temptation isn't completion. It's premature arrival. We rush because we cannot bear the tension. We explain before we understand. We conclude before we've listened. We force resolution because uncertainty feels unbearable. That's a hurried story. I've come to understand that the hurried story isn't about speed. It's about control. You can move quickly without being hurried. However, a hurried story says, I have to force clarity. I need an answer now. I'll write the ending myself. An unhurried story says, I don't have to know the ending yet. I'll remain faithful in this chapter. I'll let the author write the next page. As I was thinking about that this week, I found myself doing something simple. Making a cup of coffee and sitting without trying to solve anything. Just letting the conversation settle. I think we underestimate how important those moments are. Not because they change the story, but because they change how we inhabit it. That's one of the reasons I'm grateful for the continued partnership with Savorista Coffee. They make exceptional craft decaf and half-calf coffee using ethically sourced Arabica beans and natural decaffeination methods, so you can enjoy a rich cup of coffee with less caffeine. For Quiet Maverick listeners, if you've enjoyed it, or if you would like to try it, you receive 25% off. You can visit Savorista.com using our membership code SIGNAL8. Again, that's Savorista.com using our promotional code SIGNAL8. And I'd like to thank them for their continued support of the Signal. One sentence has stayed with me. Trust isn't expressed because all of the questions disappeared. Trust is expressed by refusing to rush what belongs to God. Because if God finishes what He started, then perhaps my responsibility isn't to finish the story. It's to remain faithful within the chapter I'm living. That doesn't make me passive. It makes me a participant rather than the author. I don't have to seize the pen to be faithful on the page I'm on. So, here's the Quiet Maverick challenge for this week. Think about one unfinished story in your own life. Not the ending, the page you're living today and ask yourself, what belongs on today's page? Then be faithful to that. Walking in today's grace, keep your hands on today's page. Leave the pen in the author's hands. This is the Quiet Maverick. I'm Gregory Michael. Thank you for spending time with me. You know I do not take your attention lightly, because where you place your attention is where your life begins to move. If something in today's conversation resonated with you, sit with it. Give it room to do its work. And if someone came to mind while you were listening, share this episode with them. That's how we keep the signal moving. And if you'd like to continue the conversation or explore more from the Quiet Maverick Studios, everything you need is in today's show notes. Until next time, may you have the wisdom to resist the hurried story and the courage to faithfully inhabit the one that's still being written. Still waters, steady hands, grace in motion.